my top 5 things that I experienced from yesterday. So I mentioned the baseball game was great, but just as a whole, my top 5 experiences from day 1 on my trip to Japan. At number 5, the food. I mentioned in yesterday's episode the ramen, which was the best ramen that I have ever had, but all in the first day here in Japan. I ate ramen, and that night I had sushi, and it was unbelievable. The word fresh comes to mind. It was just like you take the first bite, and it's like this is some of the most fresh sushi that I've ever had. The food was remarkable. The food in the ballpark was incredible. Not to spoil the video that will be coming out, but there were things that are never at baseball stadiums at Major League Baseball stadiums. I had pork dumplings. I had this hot dog that I have no idea what was on it. I had shaved ice with oranges on top. I didn't know that was a thing. And when you hear that, literally think just a cup of shaved ice with no flavor, and then on top of it, just a bunch of oranges. That's what it was, and it's a staple here in the stadium. And so yeah, shaved ice, that video will all be coming out soon, but the ramen and the sushi were my favorite things from yesterday. Next up, number 4, watching my first ever baseball game in Japan. It was the first stadium I'd ever been to. It was the first baseball game I've ever seen, and I can't stress this enough. Baseball games in Japan are not like baseball games in the United States. They are a party. It is a really cool experience, and to be able to sit there in the stands and watch the game was awesome. Just the game itself. But that leads me to number 3, which is the enthusiasm around the game. There was a pep rally before the game. There are chants in the stands. There are drums being played in the outfield at every single time. Even the pregame announcements. Let me walk you through this just so you get a picture of this. The cheerleaders, which there are a bunch of, which you don't really see that in the United States. There are a bunch of cheerleaders for the first, before the game, they run out onto the field. You're doing the introductions, and they start doing these dances as players are getting introduced, and every name that is said. The drums in the outfield start playing. The fans start doing the beat to the drum. The cheerleaders start doing these crazy things and waving their flags. It was like a European soccer match. That's the best way I can describe it. They have their banner, the flag, and they're waving it back and forth, and the fans in the stands are doing it, and there's drums playing. It is an event before the first pitch even starts. It is an event. Pep rallies, chants, songs, drums, the whole 9 yards. It was really cool. Number 2. My number 2 from yesterday, my day 1 experience, is walking in the stadium for the first time. Like I said earlier, I'm kind of a big fan of understanding moments in the moment, appreciating moments while they're happening. This whole Japan trip is one of them. But my number 2 is walking in that stadium for the first time. I saw it from the outside and was kind of like, whoa, this is not what I was expecting. I don't know what I was expecting, but it was huge, it was enormous, and then we walked in, and I will forever remember it, and I will today as well, doing this in the Tokyo Dome. I will forever remember walking through that tunnel and seeing the stadium for the first time. It's unlike anything in America. There's the stands kind of go all the way around, but like it's not really symmetrical, which adds to the beauty of it, I think. The place is huge. The capacity was around 36,000, I believe, but it's really kind of built straight up. There's really not a bad seat in the house. If you watched the video, if you watched the Flippin Bats episode yesterday, you saw that we were doing it kind of high behind home plate. I was out of breath getting up to that location. The stands are so built right on top of each other. It's really cool and unique, but that walk out of the tunnel and seeing the stadium was for me something I'll never forget. But my number 1 moment, my number 1 day 1 experience was meeting the fans. Honestly, it was kind of emotional to see. It was kind of an emotional experience to have all of the fans meet and greet me the way they did. There was fan art that was made. I tweeted that out. I'm in the newspaper today. There were people taking pictures. I took over 100 photos. That experience, oh man, not only will I never forget it, the people that are here with me will never forget it. The people that I was taking pictures with themselves were saying that they would never forget it. They were mentioning the podcast. I started a baseball podcast with Fox Sports a year and a half ago called Flippin Bats. I fly 13 hours across the globe, and 50 people are saying I'm a big fan of Flippin Bats. How cool is that? And that is absolutely my day one, number one experience. Thanks for watching. If you love Flippin Bats, swinging 3-0, or just talking ball, join us. Call us at 213-537-9339 with your questions. We have a weekly guest, and we have a lot of fun, so hit that subscribe button.